try not to think in terms of important. I mean, I know what you mean. I understand the question. I just don't think in terms of, oh, because of this movie, now the next 30 years of cinema is like this, and because of this movie and this innovation, and now we live in a new world. I guess I've never thought that was that important. I mean, it's important at the time, but I actually appreciate that you said important, but I don't know. I guess I just don't. I guess I just don't think like that. Well, the rewriting history, that just happened during the writing. When I started writing Bastardo Sin Gloria, I love that time. I didn't plan on doing that. It was so it wasn't this idea that, from the very beginning, the reason I'm doing this is to change history. I basically wrote myself in a corner, and I didn't know how to get out of it, so I just decided to kill Hitler. And that seemed to be pretty good. People seemed to really like that. And so then I think I've kind of done a rewriting history trilogy with that and Django and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Somebody said something to me, I did an interview, and somebody said, okay, so you're using the ending that you used in Inglourious Basterds for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Do you think that's okay for you to just use that type of ending again? And I said, well, it's okay if I do it, because it's my ending. I'm the one that came up with that shit. You can't do it. You're ripping me off. Anybody else is like, it's just fucking like Inglourious Bastard. You know, I can do it every fucking time. It's mine. Well, my priorities have changed a little bit for the simple fact that by the time I had a son, it was, almost calculatedly set up to be towards the end of my film career. So there's kind of a reason that I had him now. And I didn't have a child 15 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 9 years ago. This is my entire coming to the end of the film career. All my priorities have changed to quite a degree. Okay, well, what? I'm still not quite sure what the question is. You made some really great statements, but I didn't understand what...
Il rapporto tra epica e morale, quanto è importante per lei oggi questi due temi e il fatto poi la consapevolezza di rimanere nella storia. Lei che
Stop. Okay, you keep saying the word ethics and morality. What's the question?
How important are for you?
Ethics? Oh, I thought you were saying ethics. I think you are saying ethics, aren't you? You are saying ethics, not ethics.
Both, etica ed epica.
Can you just ask it better? I guess. I haven't quite thought about it like that before, but I think it's a situation where when I'm writing the movie, it's not really about the movie. It's all about the page. So that's what I'm doing. I'm writing right now. That's it. It's me and the paper and my pen and whatever table I happen to be sitting at. So in that case, it's all about the narrative. And it's all about the story, and it's all about the characters, and it's all about finding out who they are, and letting them tell me who they are, and getting to that certain point where they take over the narrative lead. So I'm not pushing them anymore. They take it from me. At some point, the characters take it from me. And yeah, look, I'm going to come, I want to do a great chase scene. Oh, I want to do a cool fight scene. Or, hey, maybe this could be in split screen. Or you know, all kinds of cinema stuff like that. I could do that. But you know, but I'm not really thinking about that much then. It really is about the narrative and discovering the story and discovering the characters. Once I'm actually doing the movie, then all that is kind of in my back pocket. And now it's about how I'm going to film it. And now it's about staging the movie. And now it's about the cinematic set pieces. And you know, and that all happens through the course of pre-production, or now looking at the scenes. Now what do I want to do now that it's done? And then working with the actors and everything. So I think it is more of I start adding the cinematic elements to it, you know, in a big way during the making of the movie. But the first process, the writing, that's where it's just pretty much just the literary aspect. Who would I get along with? Okay, I guess I'll take Jackie Brown out of the equation because those were Elmer Leonard's characters. Well, I'd probably get along with Cliff pretty good. I like Cliff. Oh no, okay, oh no. Yeah, I'll say. I'll say Cliff, and actually probably the one that I would argue with the most. I mean, look, the one that I hate, right, is Calvin Candy. Okay, but I wouldn't be arguing with him. But the one that I would argue with the most is probably Rick Dalton. Because I think Rick Dalton's a crybaby. I like Rick, but I think he has a really great life, and he had a really great career, and he doesn't realize it. He doesn't appreciate it. Now, in the course of the movie, and definitely in the course of the novel, that's part of the arc of the novel, is he comes to appreciate his career and not just think about it in the vanity terms that he has. But like Leo used to joke, you know, because everyone like always felt so sorry for Rick, and he would go, that's not Quentin. Quentin thinks Rick's a big fucking crybaby. Quentin thinks Rick has a really terrific career and he should appreciate it. That's a pretty grisly negative question. Okay, well, I think you're being silly with the question, so my answer is coming from a silly place. Okay, I have a big problem with, as a lot of people do, I have a big problem with with D.W. Griffith's movie, Birth of a Nation. And the reason I have a big problem, well, there's a lot of reasons I have a big problem with that movie, but one of the real giant reasons of my problem with that film was not just the racism enclosed in it, but the fact that it gave birth to the Ku Klux Klan again in the 20th century in America, and they held a stronghold in the South for the whole first half of the 20th century. It wasn't until the winning of the civil rights movement in the late 60s that they were pretty much squashed, and they didn't go away, but they were made far more irrelevant than they were in the 30s and the 20s and the 40s and the 50s. And there's a lot of dead black folks, and there's a lot of dead Jewish folks during those 50 years that were killed and murdered by the Klan, and just a lot of terrorism that happened. And the Ku Klux Klan would not have come together, it would not have been reborn if it hadn't been for Birth of a Nation. So, if you consider the fact that there has been a race war going on in America for, at the very least, the first 50 years, if you put D.W. Griffith on the same, if you put D.W. Griffith, if you brought him to Nuremberg and put him under the same trial that Viet Harlan, who did Jude Sus, and Lena Wertmüller, who did Triumph of Will, they were both brought before the judges of Nuremberg about what they did. Now they were found not guilty, that they were not culpable for the effects of their film. However, if Birth of a Nation and D.W. Griffith was brought there, I think he would have been found guilty. By the same standards that they used in Nuremberg, he would have been found guilty. Now, I'm not saying I would wish I could kill D.W. Griffith, but the man who wrote Birth of a Nation, Tom, no, I don't want to kill anybody. What am I talking about? Okay. I'm not going to say who I'm going to kill because I wouldn't kill anybody. But that's somebody that's dubious, that maybe things could have been better if they weren't around.